future. This is a time period that they should never retouch, really. I know what you're thinking though. Versus 13 could get the Snyder cut, like the Justice League got. You know, like the film. You know, the movie. Now I know there's like a bajillion mobile games. In fact, there's a mobile game that gets advertised to me about this Final Fantasy 15 all the time. But I just don't think they should touch anything. Knowing something, going off rumors, that we've had this conversation before. And there's Square officially announced something. It's all nonsense until like something comes from it. There's been plenty of rumors that I don't want to re-mention right now that have come to nothing. I have people convinced that it was happening. I didn't mention Type 0. Unless somebody... Oh, Retro did. Yeah, but that's still not confirmed. I know everything that Square has confirmed when it comes to Final Fantasy. I do my research. What is rumored is leaks. Right. Remember we was having this conversation about Nintendo and Zelda and leaks, right? You can't trust leaked content, alright? You just can't. I trust you said, but I'm saying don't be disappointed when nothing comes from it. When they realise if they had no budget for this to begin with, they're more interested in mobile games with this stuff anyway. You know who was right? I proved you wrong regularly. Okay. Type 0 is also getting released during the time period. I understand why you're saying you'd like to see it. I know, like, Nyla said the same thing to me. Like, well, not the same thing.
One
she
more
said
of you guys?
that that's what the better version's supposed to be.
There was. We lost track of him.
I know, because I looked into it. Like, I watched the Versus 13 trailer ages ago, I think. And it's like these characters are here, but it's much darker, right? It's like what you want from the story, the delivery, the character, you know. You know, it's basically what this should have been. That's why I used the Schneider cut thing as like the you know, the explanation. That makes sense, because people know what I mean by that. You like the idea of Titan more than actually playing it? Yeah, I think I feel like you. But the thing is, Nomura should just focus on right now. Nomura should not be thinking about Versus 13. I understand it's his baby and it's taken away from him, but focus on finishing the remake project. Focus on Kingdom Hearts 4. And if he's involved in 16, I don't think he is. Stop.
Is he dead?
Again, I've said this many times in this playthrough. I can't reiterate enough. Square, at this point when this game was released, was not in a good place. We all know it. Okay, we all know it. Square was not doing too hot in terms of the quality of video games, the quality that was coming out. This game is the literal image of where Square was at. You know, I'm not saying you can't enjoy these games, by the way, just because I'm saying I feel this game is bad mechanically put together. There are so many things that could improve this game. And there's slight touch-ups. This whole system here, I'm waiting until I get to the end of the game to really talk about it, right? But this isn't a bad system, but it could be so much better. I'm not kidding you. Like, I'll save it. I'll save it because I want to start the conversation. I want
in
to.
the meantime, handle what's at hand. This way.
I haven't said a bad thing about the look of the game. I've said the game looks great and sounds great. I don't know why you're saying as if I'm not saying that. I didn't say that. I'm talking about the mechanics.
Thank the demons. Pawns of the Imperial Army.
The army that you fight for.
Fought for.
I feel like you don't listen to me.
My men and I are in the search and
rescue business now. You're trying to make out and saying something different to what I'm actually saying. Not just you. You.
You mentioned being part of the relief effort. We have a favor to ask.
Ask away.
In light of what you've
No, don't remake 15. One, if you're gonna, you don't remake games. Like 7 is the one game that I would say out of the entire series, out of every game, that gets the remake, right? Because it's their biggest game. Final Fantasy 7 is the biggest Final Fantasy game that will ever exist. Nothing will top 7. Not the sales. It will never top on sales. It will never. Square, I think they've just become to realize that. They've become to understand this, which is why they're expanding on it, on where it is now, because they know that it's free money. Why do you think they did the Ever Crisis thing? Because they know they can make money from it. You know, like, it's there. The Battle Royale thing was not a good idea, but we'll forget about that, right? No, 16 won't top 7. 16 will not top original Final Fantasy 7. In terms of sales, in terms of numbers, in terms of performance. The only game I would say remake out the Final Fantasy... I know why you're saying this, Darth. Don't get me wrong. You want this to be done right. I get it. But no, just leave it alone. I would say, honestly, the safest thing you can do with this now is leave it alone. Because the people that do like this game will just not like the change. And the people that don't like the game already are not going to have their opinions swayed. Remaking a game or re-releasing it doesn't sway an opinion. Some games I just would... It's like for me, some games, it doesn't matter what they do to it. If they have day one failed to release... If they failed to release a game on day one, and then they want to patch it up within like 50, 100 updates, hundreds of DLC and stuff like that, and then claim that it's good, I'm going to be like, no, that's not good enough. No Man's Sky is my go-to. Like, they promised all this stuff, didn't deliver, day one release, everyone got bad. Everyone went mad, right? Cyberpunk was another game where that happened, right? Exactly that. So, I'm not saying that directly happens here. Had this been released the same year as Cyberpunk or something, yeah, I may have been... They changed too much in this before they released it. Final Fantasy VIII Remake? No, fans don't want that. People's arguments with Final Fantasy VIII Remake are it could fix the story, and I don't think that's a legitimate reason to remake a game. I would say 6 is the only game that would get a remake. It has a huge fan base. It has the calling for it. It is a OG SNES game that could benefit from a complete full HD remake. The way 7's been done. Not in a bad way. I think if they touch 6, they'd do it. I'm not saying I'm not against it. I think it'd be a really cool idea. I'm also the guy that says don't remake games. So your don't touch 6 thing, people could say that for 7 though. Don't touch 7 then. Don't, you know, that's like saying don't touch Final Fantasy 7, remake that. It's the same argument, Retro. Saying don't touch it, it's just silly to me. 6, because I'd prefer it if they're gonna remake a game that can reach a new audience and hit the old audience. But then they will deliver 100% in it. I don't mean quote unquote ruin it. Because one thing that 7 Remake does is it doesn't make the original Final Fantasy 7 obsolete. A lot of people just opt to play the remake of Resident Evil 2 now because it's a vastly improved version of it. Whereas it doesn't work like 7. More people play 7 than 7 Remake consistently. If you go onto Twitch, there's more people watching Final Fantasy 7 than the remake. You know, like, remake is you play it once, twice, maybe a few times, you move on. Now, when we talk about 7, it's dangerous because everyone just defends it, and 7 can do no wrong to the majority of the fan base. That happens a lot. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything on some of the conversation. You ever think of 13's graphics are better? Actually, no. I said this, I don't think, you know how each Final Fantasy in each platform gets vastly better? So, for example, 7 to 10, or 7, 8, 9 compared to 10, huge improvement because of the console switch. Same for PS2 to PS3, 10 to 13. 13 looks fantastic. 3, but the difference between PlayStation 3 and 4 isn't huge, and I feel like this game, it looks great, but I think 13 just looked too good for this game. But then I think the Final Fantasy Remake makes this game look weak. 7 was the one that was obviously ever going to be touched because 7 has the money. People were saying, the fan base was crying out for 7 as well. They're like, we want 7. And you remember the old tech demo thing for the PS3 or PS2 where they did HD of it? People were saying, are they going to remake it for them? Good thing they're waiting for the PS4, all right? But you're missing my point. I'm not saying remake the game as a 2D thing. Like, I'm saying give it the full thing. It has the story. It has the characters. It has all the fan base. It's the only one I would say touch, and it would be enough to hit the new players. That being said, I would prefer if they just did Final Fantasy 17 after Final Fantasy 16. You know, I don't want to see remake after remake after remake after remake. What told you of Final Fantasy back in the day was very few people you knew liked Final Fantasy. That's why we're all here. I bet you any money. I'm willing to bet that all of us feel that way. I had one friend who liked Final Fantasy. You guys must have seen him a couple of times pop up on Twitch, right? DJ, still talk to him. You know, like it's hard to find people who liked Final Fantasy back when we were all kids, 100%, because it was such a niche kind of game. It took till high school for me to find someone who liked Final Fantasy. But 7's remake was a risk, and it had to be great. It had to be. I'm not saying it hasn't got its flaws, but it is still a phenomenal game. You can't deny how good Final Fantasy 7 remake is. Like, it is standalone phenomenal game. It's a full game. It has a full experience. It's really great. Like, I think it had to, because had they failed as a Final Fantasy 7 remake, not only would this game here be like, oh, it's Final Fantasy 15 again, which is what people would have said, but Square would be stopped, wouldn't be making Final Fantasies anymore, to be fair. There was too much risk with it. It had to be up there. Seven was the breakout game internationally as well. I know Final Fantasy 3/6, as in, you know, a lot of people know it's 3. Will say, yeah, you know, 6 is the best game, and I understand that. I hear what you're saying. And most people say 6 is better than 7. Well, I say a lot of people who say 6 is better than 7, but 6 isn't the game that hit worldwide. 7 was. Square knew 7 was going to hit worldwide. They marketed it to hit worldwide. Especially because Sony PlayStation 1 was selling like hotcakes. Like, SNES was out there the same generation as Sega Mega Drive and / Genesis, you know. But like, in terms of Final Fantasy 7, PlayStation, Sony, all everyone's talking about, boom, Final Fantasy 7, there it is, go. And then Tactics came out around the same period of time as well, which is then when people got interested in Final Fantasy 7, they were like, does that got Final Fantasy name? I'm going to play it. Which is why so many people love Final Fantasy Tactics and played it around the same period of time as well. Tactics could do with a HD remaster and a re-release on a modern console. When I say HD remaster, I mean like it would still be overview, third, over the top. I'm not saying like 7. I mean like, you know, yeah, remaster. Like it still looks and plays the same as it does now, kind of thing. Not pixel remaster. Don't get it twisted. I mean like as in like just more visually upscaled, appeasing kind of thing. I think you know, basically another port of that game would be great for it. Yeah, see, Daniel would like to play on PS4 because more people have access to those things, and that's what people want. That's why a lot of people say they want a remaster of a game, because they just want access to play it on their PlayStation or their Xbox or their Switch, because they're very accessible game consoles with ways to play games digitally, you know. But it's not an accessible remaster. They could just re-release the remaster for, you know, I'm saying that there's an opportunity for it. But like I said, there's a rumor about Tactics being remade, but I don't see how and why. This is why people want remakes and remasters. They just want to play their games again on their modern consoles. I get it. I know it's not the game for this, but this is actually quite an interesting conversation. It comes up a lot, but it's fine. It's quite a fancy game. But there's so much... It's because the whole... It's more like... There's what I'm saying, just don't touch this game. There's more opportunity elsewhere. They're not going to invest money and time into a game and a project that has nothing to it anymore. You ain't winning back. The people that don't like this game, you're not winning them back. You're not winning. You're not winning anybody back. Square know that. They know. If they gave it the Schneider cut, people will play it. But you won't. You'll never. They'll never be able to change the original feel in this game. It's done. Justice is done. Justice is done. The damage is done. All they can do is make 16 one of the best Final Fantasies ever made since Final Fantasy X. And I genuinely believe Final Fantasy 16, I'm not counting online, so Final Fantasy 11 and 14 don't count in this list. But I feel like 16 is going to be the best Final Fantasy we've all ever played since Final Fantasy X. Yes, I'm the person that tells you to stop going with this stuff with expectations. As a AAA game, it's Square, and based off the trailer and the visuals and some of the information put out there, I feel like they put a lot of care into 16. I cannot wait for 16. I am so excited. The day that we saw the official trailer, the proper one, I was so excited. I was like, I cannot wait to play. I'm more excited about 16. I've been saying this for a while. I've been more excited about 16 than I have been for Rebirth, because we've had the Final Fantasy remake. It's gonna get better. I'm looking forward to what's happening next, but I'm not as excited for Rebirth right now as 16. Which is why I love the focusing on it. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, the PS3 versions, there's a PSP/PS3 version of like OG6, OG5, OG4. Well, not OG. They are upscaled, but they run pretty much as close to the original game as you're gonna get. And I'd say that they should release that on Switch, and they should release that. But they want to push the Pixel remaster because they feel like that's where they put all the money. They spent money on it. Something they didn't even. They could have made free money by releasing those ports on all of the consoles as well as the Pixel remasters. Because guess what? I'll play both. I have this idea in my head that I want to do, and I'm still going to do it. Because Final Fantasy Friday is going to run out of space at some point, right? I'm going to play either the emulated versions or as close as an original version of the game I can get. I don't have every console on the OG NES and stuff like that. I'll have to use emulators to a degree. And then play the Pixel remaster. And then do my comparison. And that way I feel like, because I'd rather just play the original first, kind of thing. 3 would be a hard one to do, but... But I know, I have this gut feeling that 16 is going to be incredible. The best one since 10. And I'm not even worried. I was a little nervous when I played the remake for the first time, but it was undone by a lot of excitement. But 16, I have a lot of faith in, 100%. I've never felt, after playing the remake, I've never felt so... I haven't felt this safe about Square in a long time. Which is why I'm really hyped for it. Which is why I'm glad I'm playing this now, so I can see with the state that this is in. And when I go, wow, because now I can actually go categorically compare it to Final Fantasy 15 and go, yeah, 16 to 15. Say what you want about this game. When it comes out, 16 is going to make this game look so bad, worse than it already is. You can be like, wow, okay, you know what? But like I said, this game, Final Fantasy 15 is a product of its time. I'm going to say this in my final at the end of when we beat the game and we're at the end and I'm doing the review of the game, it's going to be a product of its time. Not everything is on Square, because mid 2010s period, they weren't great. Like 2016 wasn't a good year for gaming. Doom came out, which was a great game. It was a reboot. But you know, the in-game ads and stuff like that, the product placement, we weren't the only game doing it. I feel like this is the most EA Square Final Fantasy game, and they tried something on here. It was a bad idea. They kept it in the game for some reason. I would have removed that nonsense on the Royal version, but they kept it in anyway. I feel like if Nomura kept on to this project, it would have been good, but you know. Hold on, Trev. Yeah, they might add NFTs, but you know, we'll see. Apart from the NFT thing, Square in a very good place, and I'm very happy right now with them. The jump from Kingdom Hearts 2 to Birth by Sleep. It's not the same as jump from Final Fantasy 13 to Final Fantasy 15. If that's what you're trying to get at. The reason why I'm saying is because it's a PS2 game to a PSP game. Birth by Sleep is very much a PSP game. It plays like one. I think Birth by Sleep plays better than Crisis Core if I was to compare PSP games. I'm not talking about, I haven't played the PSP versions of these games, but I feel like BBS, despite its flaws, feels and plays very much like a Kingdom Hearts game. It's nowhere close compared to Kingdom Hearts 2. Kingdom Hearts 2 is probably going to be the best Kingdom Hearts game of them all. Right? They took Kingdom Hearts 1, which was great and fantastic. I love Kingdom Hearts 1. They kept the great stuff, got rid of the stuff that wasn't working, and then developed it into Kingdom Hearts 2. To appreciate 2, you have to play Kingdom Hearts 1 first, and you can see where the improvements they did to it. Final Mix is and then it's a shame Final Mix was a Japan only release on the PS2, because holy cow, it was wasted an opportunity. I guess for some reason they didn't feel like there was a big enough fan base for it. But yeah, I would say Retro, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you stopping by. The jump, it went down. It definitely went down if you would compare the games objectively, but yeah, I would say obviously 2 is way better, but 2 is also better than Dream Drop Distance. Like, I won't, it's not fair to compare 2 to BBS fully. I will compare 3 to 2. When we get to Kingdom Hearts 3, I will be comparing it to Kingdom Hearts 2. We probably already know which way I'm going to sway, but again, I'll go into 3 completely objective, like, and I'll look at 3 and its own entity, and then do the thing like, well, has it taken the step forward? You know how Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2 is an improvement in Kingdom Hearts 1 in terms of taking what's great and then fulfilling and going to the next stop, going to the next level of how to make this developed game even better. Does Kingdom Hearts 3 do that to Kingdom Hearts 2? And that's what I want. But again, we'll save that for Hearts Up on that level of detail. I don't want to go too far into Kingdom Hearts because it gets spoiler territory. 13-2. Why are we talking about 13-2? FTs be barely. Oh, do you mean through like channel points? I'd rather use my channel points over there for guess the game. It's in the list to be played, but I don't think I'll do it all. It's on the Plat Quest. It's on the Plat Quest anyway. Ed, I don't know what you're worried about. It's on his platinum thing, isn't it? So play it eventually. The HD remaster. No, there isn't a HD remaster. It's just 13-2 on his Plat Quest. He hasn't got the plat for it. You're gonna get a full playthrough of it. Yes, but on the trophy quest, it's still there. I'm pretty sure it's there anyway. I might be wrong. I might be thinking of Tenzu. No, don't do that. Well, it's there. Yeah, it's fine. Let's do it all then. Covered. Thanks again for the gifted sub, by the way, to Retro. Yeah, I know it's 40 million. I'm pretty sure I did, but just in case I missed it. Feels calm, man. That's such a good emo, isn't it? Yeah. I'm glad I am playing it. By the way, I'm still glad I'm playing this. My goal was to play this before 16 intentionally, and I'm glad I am. Like, I'm glad that I've seen this. I've seen I've seen. I had a gut feeling this game wasn't right. Wasn't good. And my intuition was correct in this. But at least from my opinion. If you enjoy the game, that's fine. But I'm not gonna say you should enjoy this game. There's lots of mechanically bad things in this game. And every time that I've come across something that I liked in this game, I've praised it. I've not just been negative. I know people feel like I'm probably being negative a lot, but I'm just saying how I feel in the moment. It's better than me sitting there quiet or just lying about how I'm feeling about the game. I'm going to be honest about it. That is the reality to it all. But if you enjoyed the game, that's awesome. I won't, Arth said he likes Stranger of Paradise. I don't like I didn't like my experience playing Stranger of Paradise. I felt like it was a very incomplete game. But I don't go to say you shouldn't enjoy that game. I praise the fact that he still likes the game, So if you're watching this, whether it's now or in the future on YouTube, and you liked this game, please don't be, man, he's so negative about this game. Like, I can assure you, if you like the game, I would support the idea of you enjoy the game, because it's not up to me to tell you how to enjoy the game or what you enjoy in the game. I'm being negative. You feel I'm quite negative. I'm just being objective. I'm just saying how I feel when it happens. I'm being as objective as I can for this game. Like, I didn't come into this the mindset that this game was going to be bad. I'm not oblivious to everything. I know about the reputation, the backlash that happened, but the fact that I didn't play this in day one, even though I have had it since day one, because I was put off by the movie, the anime, this, that, and the other. I was like, it's too overwhelming to start. I wasn't motivated to play this game from day one when it actually released. Like, I wanted this game to be good, even in the Royal version. When I started this Let's Play, I wanted this to be good. I wanted to like the game. Of course I did. Final Fantasy is my favorite series. Of course I wanted to be good. Do you know what? I can't stand that Final Fantasy 11 was an online game. When that came out as an online game, I was so disappointed with Square in it. I was so disappointed. I was like, wow, an online game. I know people like it in the MMO, but they could have just called that Final Fantasy Online and we could have had Final Fantasy 11, I was so disappointed at that thing. Like, don't get me wrong, I know Final Fantasy 14 has done phenomenal. Well, now it's done phenomenal, not on release. But I still don't like the fact that it's an online MMO. It shouldn't be called Final Fantasy 14. Just call it Final Fantasy Online 2. The problem is, it wouldn't have sold as much if it didn't say Final Fantasy 14. That's the reality. This game's best moment, I feel like, is already over. The stuff that happened at Altissa, the Leviathan fight and like Luna. I felt that this was the best moment. That was the only moment I felt like playing Final Fantasy game. That was the only moment I felt like playing Final Fantasy. And even then, it was pretty much an Aerith scene all over again. They pretty much did Aerith again. But, it's normal. It's not, I'd say everyone was shocked by Aerith, but actually Final Fantasy was good at killing off characters prior to 7 as well. So, a death in the Final Fantasy game doesn't shock me, but like I try to hide it a bit on stream. Like when I get like upset, I kind of like, I don't say anything sometimes, but I felt upset inside, like something in me connected, and it might just been a personal thing, like life experience, whatever. But like, I felt heartfelt on that scene watching Noctis lose her. And then you saw how angry he is when he saw what he thought was Arden right there. Like, that was cool. But the build up to that moment was done so badly. Whereas 7, the build up to Aerith was done so well. No one saw it coming, dude. no one saw the era of death coming until it happened, you know? And that's why, for many of us, most of us, the era of death scene is one of the most iconic moments in our Final Fantasy, in video games for us. Because you never saw it coming. Even as a 9-year-old child, it hit me. I was like, oh my god. Just lost my character. And then 7 carries on by taking Cloud out and Tifa. And you're sitting there thinking, wait. They took away Aerith. They wouldn't take out Cloud. He's our main character. You know? But I got frustrated over the last 2 weeks. Because I felt like I was having to explain myself saying how I feel about the game, even though I do this every single game that I play, just because this is Final Fantasy 15. And I just wanted to make that clear. Like, it frustrated me, and it actually was eating at me a bit. Like, I was like thinking, should I not even say how I feel when I play games anymore? Is someone just not gonna, you know, is people just take it the wrong way that I'm just being completely negative? Like, if a game is bad, I'm gonna say it's bad, right? At the end of the day. Does that mean you can't enjoy it? No. If you sit there and said, yeah, do you know what, Marsh, I do think it's mechanically bad, but I enjoy the game, that's awesome. As long as, if you're enjoying the game, I would never say to tarnish your experience of playing the game. But don't force me to don't expect me to like the game and its mechanics if it's not well put together. The mechanics, I thought today of how to fix this game. Mechanically. I mean, like, just the how the character could be better in battle. And it took me about 5 minutes. Because it's just tweaking the game a bit for it to work a bit better. Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah. And she became such an instrumental character. She was really important. She was a party of party. You leveled her up, you invested into her in the game, and then they're just like, oh. You know? Oh, it's not you, Doc. I feel like I shouldn't have to sit there and defend myself and say why I shouldn't say how I'm feeling. So if you feel like I've been like negative, I'm glad to say this during the playthrough. Don't take it like, oh, he's just so negative, he hates the game, he's just gonna find things wrong. He's just like everybody else. This is all my own feeling of the game. For someone who loves Final Fantasy series and been playing it since 9 years as a 9-year-old child, and is the reason why I still play video games, had I played this on day one, I would be furious. But this was a full price game. And this is the Royal Edition. I'm talking about the normal version. There are elements that I do like, but I think it's just because it's Final Fantasy goggles. Same for Kingdom Hearts. I can play a bad Kingdom Hearts game and still enjoy it because I just like playing Kingdom Hearts, you know? It's like, yeah. Thank you, yeah. Appreciate it. Will I play the DLC? It depends on how quick I finish this game. I'm going to do all the base game stuff first. Do the platinum kind of stuff like that. Then we'll look at the DLC. I think that's fair. That way I can get the quote-unquote full experience, am I right? The Ignis thing, the event of Ignis is inspired me to almost want to do Ignis's DLC at the very least. Someone know what happened to me. But like when you're playing a Final, it doesn't have to be a Final Fantasy game, just previous Final Fantasies have done this every single time. When you're playing a video game, a story-driven game, I expect the character development to be in it. I expect all the lore information to be in it. There is lore in this game, in this world, really good lore. But it's not in the main adventure. It's not even the main game. It's in a movie. It's in some other content. It's in mobile games and left, right, and center. And it's just all over the shop. It's not in the game. It's not there. Not the information that we need to understand certain elements of this game isn't there. Oh, and some of it's in the tutorial, by the way. Like, and by the tutorial, you go to the tutorial section of the game, and then the lore in there. They even tell you to go to the tutorial for lore, which is, yeah, I ain't lying about that. But feel like the best part's already over. That's what I fear the most. But I'm intrigued for the DLC because of Ignis. But yeah, that's about it. I'm not in a rush, and if it's going to impede Final Fantasy 16, then no. Maybe after. Maybe after.
Told us. We can't allow the other passengers to continue on.
Sure, leave him to me. But who's gonna...
Like, Noctis and Gladio are getting along again now. Do you know how we know that? Because in the loading screen, there was a sentence that said, they're all getting along again. Why is that on a loading screen? If you're going to give us an entire chapter where they're just crying at, okay, I'm crying. Just making comments under their breath about each other and having arguments. And then there's this massive awkward tension. And you're not going to give me like a bit of dialogue between both of them to settle it? There was one dialogue where you had to pick whether you were resolve or frustration. That wasn't it. That wasn't what we was looking for. Ignis told, you missed it, yeah? But Ignis told everyone to shut up. He was like, shut up right now. I'm sick and tired of it. You need to get along. You know?
Drive the train.
Now that you mention it, yeah.
I think you need to replay 13,
You know
Trev.
anyone?
I feel like, Trev, I feel like you played the game once and wrote it off. Which a lot of people did with this game, respectively. But, like, that's not true. It's very well... The one thing 13 is, it's way too story-driven. There's way too much story, and you don't know what's going on. But they still develop the characters, even if they're not likable characters. The thing is, Final Fantasy 13 characters, they get character development, but they're not good characters. So it's hard. Like, there's more to 13 on the second playthrough than you can get into it. Like I said, the 13's flaws isn't even the gameplay. It's the main characters, the antagonists, they suck. And they whack way too much information in you in the first chapter. You don't even know what's going on in the first chapter. You know, with the escape and then the characters and then, it's just like, oh. It's like Hope. Nobody likes Hope for most of it, most of the game. But actually, if you think about it, Hope is annoying for a reason. He's supposed to be the annoying character. But it's also, him not liking Snow makes perfect sense. He holds him responsible for the death of his mother. So, it's not like you have to think out of it all. Even though when you're playing the game it's hard because you're like, oh, would you shut up, Hope? It's just all over the place because with 13, Vanille's the main character, even though it's not prominent she's main character, but she narrates the entire game. It's about her. The game ends about her anyway. I don't want to say too much just in case someone doesn't play 13. We'll end up doing that playthrough eventually anyway. But Square wanted Lightning to be the poster the character, and that was the problem. They made the wrong person the main character. Because Vanille's actually a really well-written character. They just didn't implement it. Yeah, again, But compared to this game's story, it's a bajillion times better. Right, yeah.
Do. In fact, I know two.
Look at her. She's a cool character. What a wasted opportunity, dude. Clearly a fan favorite. What did Darth say last time? Something about people modded her in to keep her in the party? I wonder why.
Your new engineers. Biggs and Wedge. No need to worry. They can take a
Biggs and
licking.
Wedge.
Only if we have to. What's all this about?
Driving a train to Grallia.
That all.
Well, who would you have me ask?
You look, that guy in the white looks like that dude from the start of Rogue One. The Star Wars movie?
What's there?
There's that meme that's flying around like, wow, so much talent. Why don't you play competitive multiplayer games? You only stick to single player games. That will mean that.
Hey, really appreciate you going out of your way.
Yeah. No sweat.
Wait, is she a good? She on our team? Come on and go. I'm following you. I'm following you. Speak to Biggs. I'll speak to you again. Why do I get the feeling? Oh, this whole area is explorable. Okay, I get it now. Wait, this is a massive compass, but there's places there. Where's her DLC? That would have sold. This place looks kind of cool, actually, to be honest with you. I wish it was daytime to see more of it, but cool.
Hey, thanks for the lift.
We're happy to help. Can't say the climate will be as cooperative, though. You know?
Right, especially the gorge.
The place is freezing. Makes
Why do they
sense
sound
what
like
with the ice goddess's cold corpse lying around. It's a rather long ride, so I suggest you bundle up before we ship out.
Wait, that was the one
By
that
the
got
way, I
cancelled?
bumped into a
Ain't
woman
no
from the
way.
manor.
They cancelled the one that would have sold.
Used to serve House Flore. Must have gone off looking for you. Said she had something important to discuss.
With me? Guess I ought to find her then.
Top of the morning.
So, you've cut your ties with the Empire?
Yeah. The only way we could help the people was by leaving the army. Lady Ada about had it with them, as it were.
Oh, she's actually on our team now.
Aranea,
Well-
the Commodore.
Ah,
Nothing but demons in the capital. Meanwhile, the crystal's just sitting there. No one in the army signed up for this.
what about the civilians?
Hold up in their homes.
They're either lying quiet behind closed doors or lying dead. Your guess is as good as mine.
So RNA. So now we're with the Empire. So Arden's clearly the
We'll be waiting on board. Give us a holler when you're
Biggs.
ready to shove off. Shall
interrupt
we?
me one more time, I swear. Right. So we've gone from fighting the Imperial Army, whatever they are called. Oh wait, you can go back here? Okay, well let's not worry about this right now. So now they need us, and everywhere is on fire and burning. Okay. Sure.
The Chancellor is running some circus.
Just one leap to the next, you know. I'm down for this kind of stuff, but
The
it's
High
one
Commander
leap
got
to
the
next.
axe. Literally. And the Emperor is no more than a husk at this point. Everyone in charge is gone now. It's total chaos.
I'm not trying to go back. I'm just
All
curious.
hell broke loose in the demon labs.
Elaborate.
I'm just saying out
Unprogrammed
loud.
MTs left to run amok. Same for the demons we caught.
The
And now
demon.
they're everywhere.
They emanate from the Empire.
Yeah. The capital's crawling with them.
I already know when you rest, you can go back in time and stuff. Like, I know about that with Umbra. They already showed that to me in the game. I'm not doing any of that stuff until, like, post-game now anyway. I imagine there's, like, a new game plus or post-game or something, so... Fine. I'm not particularly worried. Theater, I don't really care about it either right now. Oh wow, how are the tables have turned. The turntables. I love it that. So was it Prompto? Is he Rip Bozo?
My word. Is that you,
What do you mean
Prince
looking at
Noctis?
spoilers? I don't look up
yeah.
anything.
Have we?
Oh,
It's just that all the games before this had New Game Plus, right?
blessed be the stars.
What other
Just
time?
look at what a fine young man you've grown into.
Thanks for confirming though.
I am Maria, a retainer in service to House Flore.
Right
I
now the
doubt you'll remember
turntables.
me after these long years.
I, can't say I do.
Man,
Don't worry. Who I am is of little import in light of what I wish to discuss.
completely
Lady
forgot.
Lunafreya risked everything to spirit the ring of the Lucii away from the Citadel. Did she deliver it to you?
Yeah.
Stars
Just
above.
kidding, Dal, don't worry.
My fears have been assuaged. Lord Ravis, too, will be overjoyed to hear this news.
Ravis too.
I'm just saying out loud, so you know where I'm at. Ravis is the dude with the white hair, right? Her brother, right? I think it's her brother. who I thought was the villain, but he's been on the screen for all of like 3 minutes in about 3 scenes, so he's supposed to be important, but he's not been given any important role in the game yet. Oh, I was right. Here he is.
I beg of you, please, see the ringed Noctis
She already sick?
on my behalf. Already, my flesh has begun to fail me.
No, I cannot accept it. By your hand. It must be done. To deliver the ring and inspire the king is your calling. You mustn't fall.
But
He's a good
I
guy.
lack the strength to go on.
Find it, Lunafreya. You have the will. Go to Noctis. Show him the truth of your heart.
I understand you will go hence to the Imperial capital.
Yeah.
Lord Ravis has King Regis's glaive in his safekeeping, and it was his wish to return it to you, my prince. Though I imagine it will not be easy for you to find each other.
I'll get it from him somehow.
I pray it shall be so.
Do you plan to watch the movie? Not particularly. The game's story been better, maybe.
About the crystal. Remember how I said it was locked away?
Yeah?
I don't have time
They
to
really
watch the
don't
movie
allow
either.
anyone near the thing. The Emperor himself never... The lab rats had a theory that the crystal posed some kind of threat to the demons. The way they see it?
Didn't we have this
Dunno,
conversation?
but that theory holds water in my book.
And remember that line. That theory holds water in my book. Let's go, mushroom. They broke the bot again, by the way. Turn your back for 5 minutes. And they break the bot. A game theory. Ding dong. Oh, wait, ding dong. We never got to listen to the Final Fantasy VIII soundtrack in the car. It auto-traveled me. Yeah, don't tell me anything, please. I don't want to know. Let me try and figure out. So I say things out loud so you know what I'm thinking.
Were you excited to marry Lady Lunafreya? Because she was really excited to marry you. She looked so happy the day her dress arrived. She really loved you, Prince Noctis.
Yeah, we don't need to pause.
Thank you.
At first, the father had mourned the fate of his chosen son. Yet in Tenebrae, the two found solace. It was not the Oracle who assuaged their fears,
Vinciana.
but the girl. She holds the true power.
She opens her eyes.
I have little to offer a king, other than the voice afforded the Oracle. Nevertheless... And... I'm afraid you might find this foolish. But... to be together with Noctis again. Even if only for a short while. It would mean the world to me.
So she knew. Right.
I do not seek to guide him, merely to stand beside him.
Lady Lunafreya worried she was burdening you with the wedding. That's not true, is it?
No.
Whose
Not
flashback
at
was
all.
that? What? How did we see that? Why did we see that? Whose flashback was that? It wasn't hers. She wasn't. That little kid wasn't there. I feel that was just thrown in there for context. I've been told that some
Lady
scenes have been added
Lunafreya
to the
was
game.
lucky to find a nice guy like you.
I get the
Thanks.
feeling that was one of them.
Will we ever see the dog? What has become of
Come on, let's go. That was probably chapter 12 done already, yeah? Let's... Come big, come wedge.
Ready to depart. Just swapped out the damage cars for some new ones. Give one of us a holler when you're ready to shove off then.
Dining car's open, if you need a break.
You're ready to shut off then. Wait, there is a food place? Let's go to the food place. Where? Oh, I don't care, dude. Just play the. Let me play the game, alright?
Shall we shove off then?
Let's go. Let's shove off. Let's shove off. Shall we shove off then?
Don't worry about the civilians. They're in my good hands. Can't say the same for you.
Lucky them.
Watch
Am
yourselves
I
in the
right?
capital.
Sorry.
We will.
I couldn't help but make a joke.
Thanks, Aranea. We'll see you around.
Or will we?
It's snowing.
Get your ass on board.
I'm beginning to
Yes,
feel
sir.
like that scene at the very beginning of the game. You know when you right, so there's it's just hit me. You know there's that scene at the very beginning of the game where you're fighting something but you don't actually fight anything. You just run up to a pile of fire. That's the end of the game. I'm gonna pigeonhole into one thing. That's kind of the reason why I stay variety. I could do one thing only, and it would probably help the channel grow more. But personally, I'd prefer to be me and just do variety. There's opportunity to grow in one area, but like in terms of like, I know you mean getting typecasted almost as a, it's hard to not. I like to be variety. So I'm always fresh and stuff as well. Just be a hurricane. True. Very true. Just be a loading screen, dude. A frozen ravine where fallen Shiva. Oh, Shiva.
Attention all passengers.
Oi! We don't talk like that, by the
On
way.
our way to our final destination in the Imperial capital. Enjoy the ride. I'll be in touch if anything comes up.
Look at all that snow. No wonder it's so cold in here.
We must be approaching the Glacian's cadaver.
Won't be a blessing if all we got's a body.
Let us hope we pass through the gorge without incident.
It's what's after the gorge I'm worried
I
about.
can't even read out loud, heroes. I don't understand. The worst way of fishing ship ever. Look at all those typos. No, just free right. Right. Can't.
Once we get through Gorovus, we're
Oh.
there.
We've come quite a long way.
I don't want to do this, dude. What do you mean?
It's depressing when it's always dark out.
Still dark. Seems there's scarcely anything left of
Oh,
day.
did we just give up on Prompto?
It's
Is he
all
dead?
gone wrong.
Oh wait, Prompto's DLC. Oh, I get it, guys. Prompto's DLC's happening right now. Oh, this is the Prompto DLC happening in the background whilst we're doing all this. Crazy. Wow. It couldn't be any more obvious, could it? Wow, guys. Of course. Of course Prompto isn't dead. He's just doing his DLC. Ain't no way. He's just doing his own content. At least I can run in it. No way. Distorted? No, no, I'm there. Wow, that's crazy. Find a way to remove them all from the party. It's almost like they planned it all along. How can we make more money out of this? Release part of a game. Like, you can remember Destiny 1 did the same thing. Like I said, a product of its time. Release a game without all of its content and then go, you know what? Here. We'll release out the rest of it out in part. Good character development. Please buy our DLC. And now part of this game is me running around on a train until I get to my location. I get the feeling I can just rush it by resting at that thing, but items are items, right? I'm hoping that the fact that I've only done the main mission will hopefully make the final mission fun. Final boss in this game like a challenge. It's also why I didn't like go out of my way to do loads of side missions. I don't want the story content to be a breeze. You know, like in Crisis Core, the story Scarlet's Core. The story content is easy once you start doing missions. Same thing in this. Stranger Paradise is like this in a way.
Who could this be?
Isn't the Stranger Paradise DLC set after the game though?
Hey, what's up? Okay, thanks for letting us know.
I'm just talking about how they sold the game. I'm talking about the actual game story. I don't remember. There isn't much story. That was a heavy mission. Dude, that was a big mission.